In today's VARBAR, we will discuss FIFA announcing a halftime show, the England squad announcements, Paul Pogba back, game week 7, and the Champions League reviews, and we share our thoughts about the Premier League season so far.
Hey, Kai.
Check complete. Let's head over to the bar.
Yes. So we're back again with another episode of the VARBAR. I am your host with the absolute most, Andrew, aka Rapping Drew. And I am joined by my compadres, Mace and Toast, the top gooners. How you doing, man?
What it do?
All good. How you
In
doing?
the cut, yeah. I'm good, man. I'm good.
Active.
Had a good weekend, man. I went to the zoo after a very long time. When's the last time you man went to a zoo? That's something you don't go, like, exactly. You don't. It's not a regular thing, but
Yeah.
once you actually go, you realize it's quite lit, but sad at the same time. But yeah, I did that on Sunday, and then Saturday. What did I do Saturday? I don't know.
Saturday, you had a crisis, man.
Oh yeah, Saturday I had a crisis. Yeah. So obviously Friday night. Let me explain this. So Friday night, they announced, because I live in Conch, innit? So I live like in a village close to the German borders. So they announced that in my area, there's like the tap water. Here normally it's far from the city in it, so you can actually drink tap water here, and it's nice. But they announced on Friday evening that the tap water, there's some sort of bacteria in there, so we shouldn't drink it because it can affect us somehow, some way. So this will last probably minimum 2 weeks. So obviously, if you want to drink tap water, you need to boil it or drink bottled water. Rah-di-da-di-da. Obviously, we saw the information at like 9 p.m., but apparently it went around. They announced it around 7 o'clock, 7:30. So obviously, my missus, she sends me the message. I'm thinking, yeah, we good, man. We just go tomorrow morning. We'll buy in bulk. We Gucci, man. So tomorrow morning comes now, 7:30. I'm awake, brushing my teeth. I'm copping water. Fam, I pull up to the supermarket, yeah, gone. Brother, the supermarket opens at 8 a.m. here. 8:10. I was 8:10. I was there. Fam, how am I seeing people congregating, vexed, talking about? Yeah, I saw a man. He put like 20 crates in his thing. He didn't even want to share. I asked him for one. He said no. I was like, nah. So I was like, oh, so what about the next stores? They were like, everywhere is finished, man. Fam, we went to a next village. Gone. They even put notes down. We know about the water crisis down there. Sorry, we ran out as well. Fam, I was calling Shalom saying, brother, instead of just chilling and watching my team, I might have to go to Germany to collect water, man. It was long. So long. Madness. But it just taught me like this, because this obviously something similar happened with like COVID, right? Where like the toilet paper crisis, where like when shit like this happen, people panic, they bulk buy, and you see a madness.
Kind of true colors, like.
But I was telling my missus, if it's like a real thing and if it's war, we're cooked. Carl, we ain't prepared for shit.
Factual, man.
We ain't prepared for shit.
Yeah, I was telling you about them doomsday guys. I think they got it right, man. They have the right idea.
Yeah, man, are prepped for any situation where. Nah, man. But nah, how can the water in your area come like Flint, Michigan, man? Well gone, bro, man.
Bro, they're doing up Flint, Michigan over here, man. Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's crazy. But yeah, we patterned. We patterned in the end. We got our bottles of water. So yeah, man. Let's see how long this crisis will last, man. But yeah, man. Let's get to the shits. Let's start with the show. Obviously, let's start with some trivial things, because if you've been living under a rock this summer, obviously, the whole Drake and Kendrick beef, them going back and forth, producing wonderful music. Obviously, Kendrick, his dagger actually outlasted the whole summer. He became the track of the summer, and on the back of it, he got the Super Bowl halftime show, right? So obviously football season has started. Toast our American football man, sorry. So he's got the Super Bowl halftime show in New Orleans, confirmed. Now, obviously, the next World Cup. Now, let me not say that. Let me say that obviously, shouts for a halftime show has always been done over here in terms of like the Champions League needs a halftime show. It's so boring. They do like a opening ceremony, but never like a big production like how they do it in America. And well, here you have it, guys. Those that won the halftime show in the next World Cup 2026, the final, they will do a halftime show. I just want to read the short thing that they just a segment of what they're written about. This is in Versus. FIFA has announced that the 2026 World Cup final will feature a halftime show similar to the Super Bowl. The show will be produced by Global Citizen, host of the annual Global Citizen Musical Festival that aims to eradicate food insecurity and hunger worldwide. Cap. With the 2026 final taking place on American soil, what better place to implement the inaugural World Cup halftime show? The global success of Super Bowl halftime performances is well documented, with millions of people tuning in just to see the annual performances from some of the world's biggest stars. Thoughts?
Interesting one. Obviously, as I said, as an NFL fan, I obviously understand that like in like a regular game, obviously halftime is like your standard sports halftime. Do you know what I mean? It's anywhere between like 13 to 15 minutes. Do you know what I mean? And then the Super Bowl halftime show is about 25 minutes long. So and obviously it's done on the pitch. So, you know, the players need to come off the pitch. They need to kind of get all the performers, the artists on the pitch, all the fireworks, everything that's going on. But for me, my just simple takeaway is American sports are very stop-start. There's hella timeouts, there's hella like breaks, there's 4 quarters. So by default, you're already the nature of the game. Players are very used to that stop-start nature. Like having a potentially, if they have a similar sort of time in certain terms of, let's say 20, 25 minutes for a football halftime show, let's say like a World Cup final, football, while the people can waste time and there's throw-ins and whatnot, it's not really stop-start by nature. Do you know what I mean? And that 15-minute stops, that halftime break is pretty standard across world football. Do you know what I mean? So to potentially extend that for a halftime show, I mean, it's hard to say what the impact could be. Like everyone knows that momentum plays a big thing in football. Do you know what I mean? Particularly in such a big game. So I guess my only takeaway is could potentially be risky from a player's perspective, from the marketing perspective, from the eyes on a performer perspective. It's only going to bring more eyes to like football as a sport. It's obviously well documented, like how well popular and how well watched the Super Bowl halftime show is, and those kind of commercial slots from like a commercial perspective, like those advertising slots, how much like companies are like willing to pay for like those crucial seconds before and after the halftime show, because obviously they know all eyes are going to be on it. So from a perspective of FIFA potentially making money, the TV companies potentially making money, I mean, like it's cash. You know what I mean? Like there's no, I don't think there's any kind of downside to it. But from the football perspective, just because of a potentially extended break, yeah, man, could have some implications on both teams in it, man. That's just kind of where I kind of see it.
Mace, where you at?
It's been done before, hasn't it? So this is not the first time. It was done in the Copa America, Colombia, Argentina, when Shakira did a halftime show. And if you look at that situation, what came out from it was, for example, the Colombian manager complained because it was just too long. And it like Tokes just alluded to, when you go into the halftime, you have 15 minutes to, hear the manager talk, maybe do like a little warm up or, stretch, whatever it is. But adding another extra 15 minutes into that 15 minutes already allocated for halftime, it's probably gonna, create more angst, and what are you going to be doing back, just doing like short runs in the changing rooms just to warm up. And also, if you look at it, look at the logistical part of it. For example, what happens to the pitch, right? So there's dampers on the pitch, there's a lot of things on the pitch. Does that ruin the pitch? Okay, so after the halftime show is done, like,
but does it ruin for the American footballers? Do they complain about that?
They generally play
different?
on like synthetic turf, innit? So they don't always play on like grass. So I don't think it should have too much of an impact. I mean, grass. I mean, we know how much like Premier League teams and like world-class clubs like put into their pitches and stuff, and all the stuff that goes on. You see that the groundsmen, multiple groundsmen at halftime doing this and that, touching up the pitch, watering the pitch. So yeah, and I mean, great point on the pitch, Mace, for sure, man.
So there's a lot of things to take into consideration. One, it's been done before, so it's not the first time. But obviously, looking at it from bringing soccer or football to America, it's good for that point of view, because you're more or less aligning the way sports is like presented to the American viewers. So it's from FIFA's point of view, you're thinking, okay, cash money. We're doing it the way these guys understand sports and halftime shows. So you can look at it from both sides, man. Ultimately, it's for the viewers. Not from my research, people who actually watch the halftime show. Some of them don't really see it properly in the pitch. You get to on like see the performance properly from the television. So from that point of view, you know, it's more as an advertisement for soccer or FIFA or football in America. But the bigger question is, will it be brought to Europe? I doubt it. Just because the way the culture in Europe is very concrete. We don't like change.
I think they've have like a multi-tournament deal. So I don't know where the next World Cups are.
Yeah.
But this is the first one, so it will be done in a few other World Cup finals.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, the biggest, for example, the NFL is pushed kind of geared towards advertisements. So that's the whole kind of, I guess, not charade, but the whole everything is very much money driven. So perhaps bringing it to Europe, we're gonna have to see lots of adverts. I don't know how it's going to work. It's just
no, but it's not gonna work because football's 45 minutes.
Correct. So there's gonna be a lot of change.
Yeah.
Yes.
How would it? Yeah.
I don't know.
Mad.
Yeah, it's mad. There's perhaps a bigger deep dive into how it would work in Europe, but in America, I think it works perfect because there's already a kind of a platform for that particular way of, I guess, the halftime show. So it does. I don't think it would be a biggie to the American audience, but it will be really weird from a European or like an African or like, you know, other perspective is looking into the World Cup. But you know, it's wait and see, man. It might be great. I'm more interested who will be performing. For me, that's the biggest conversation. Who performs that?
Let's have that. Who do you guys want to see? Because it's gonna be in the MetLife, West Coast.
Yeah. It's gonna be a pop star, man. It's gonna be a pop star.
Who do you want to see?
It's going to be a pop star.
Who do you want to see though? Not who do you think?
Who do I want to see?
Yeah.
Good question.
Just realistic. Don't give me Biggie hologram, but
that's a Biggie hologram. You know what, man? If this is obviously the inaugural kind of halftime show at like a World Cup final or whatnot, I mean, they're gonna have to kind of go for broke. But yeah, man, more than likely, it's probably just gonna be like a big pop star. We're talking Taylor Swift, Dua Lipa, you know, them people that have like 9-figure Instagram followers there. And I mean, realistically, it's probably not going to be anyone we're going to want to watch. It's going to be whoever's going to draw the biggest crowd. You know what I mean? So
it'll be funny. It'll be funny if it will be Drizzy just for the narrative.
That would be great, to be fair. Like a US Canada World Cup. I mean, a US star would be great, to be fair. Like a US rap star would be brilliant, man. But
and he's part of the not the announcement, but like the, what do you call it? The people that are promoting it, part of the promo in Canada. So can be. Let's see, man.
It could be a medley. So a couple of stars just, you know, do their things.
They've done that before as well, obviously.
It could be.
Obviously the year they had 50, they had Snoop, they had Dr. Dre, Eminem only a couple of years ago, innit? So yeah, man, good point. Could be.
Let's see, man. I'm kind of looking forward to that, man. But let's see. Obviously international break. No one is waiting for that. The England squad has been announced. A couple of, not new names, but new names from the previous setups. Have been added. And some notable absentees. If I start with the goalkeepers, it's just the same: Nick Pope, Dean Henderson, and Pickford. No, Ramsdale again. Was Ramsdale there last time?
No,
Lol.
he wasn't. He wasn't.
So ever since he left Arsenal, see
This
the
is
big club,
Nagy.
see the big club thing. It's mad. Then obviously Trent, Levi Colwill, Mark Gahey, Ezri Konza, Rico Lewis, John Stones, Carl Walker. Carl Walker's come back now from the previous one. Surprised?
Nah.
Not really, man. Just that experience, man. Do you know what I mean?
And then we got Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden, Conor Gallagher, Morgan Gibbs-White, Angel Gomez, Kobbee Mainoo, Cole Palmer, Declan Rice. No space for James Maddison. I made a comment about James Maddison yesterday, where I feel like, but we'll dive into that later. But I feel like this is him, man. In terms of, I don't see him going beyond this in terms of his quality or whatever, man. And yeah, England, yeah, we'll see. Obviously, Lee got his favourites, but it's looking peak for him. And then the forwards: Anthony Gordon, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, Noni Madueke again, Bukayo Saka, Dominic Solanke returns, and of course Ollie Watkins. Dominic Solanke is an interesting one for me because he's only bagged once. At a spell at Bournemouth, he scored a lot, never got picked, but obviously that was waistcoat. So again, it's playing for a big club.
Yeah,
is that there? Is the bias?
I mean, look at the Ramsdale
100%.
situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah,
100%.
Ramsdale goes to Southampton. He's not included. Solanke goes to Spurs. He's included. Bias,
I mean, I think he's one of the better English forwards personally, so I don't have any objections to it. And he had a very good game against Brighton, and obviously it's a shame he had like an early injury. I think he missed 2 games earlier on in the season. I think when they signed him, a lot of people kind of had high hopes for what he's going to kind of do, and I still think he's going to play a very, very big part in Tottenham season, man. So yeah, I'm happy that he's been rewarded with that, man. I think he's a very good player, man.
Another player that I'm kind of surprised that made the cut, because not surprised because I don't know who would replace him, but like Kobbee Mainoo. Obviously, Kobbee Mainoo, huge fan. Had a brilliant season last season, but I think so far this season he's been looking not like the Kobbee Mainoo
One
that
of many.
yeah, basically. But especially after the last international period, between that period and now, he's been looking poor for United, to be honest. Do you guys agree? Like, are you guys surprised? And who would replace him anyway, if it's not him?
Totally agree, man. It was one of those ones where, even though United weren't particularly great end of last year, he still looked very good. And this year, obviously, United, they're pretty much the same. But yeah, he's not stood out at all. I always say like the cream of the crop will always kind of rise, and I've not really particularly been seeing that. In terms of who will replace him, it's a great point to be honest. I mean, we've always kind of been devoid in that position. And as we mentioned last week on the pod, like Walton's had a very kind of slow start to this season. Where's Hendo now? Is he still in the desert, or did he go back to the desert? Ajax. Confirm. I mean, yeah, man. So, yeah, like I said, we're devoid of a bit of talent in that position, innit, man? I mean, I don't feel like he's played badly enough to lose his place just yet, but like if it continues, then I think you can make a justification for it for sure.
He looks to me like he's carrying an injury. He's just playing through it, and he looks a bit slow. That's what from what I've seen so far. He just looks like he's not the same Kobbee we know. You know, something's off.
I also just worry for his development in this car crash of a United team, man. Like, there's just nothing good from top to bottom in it, man. Like, so until they just get some reinforcements and a manager that can actually coach, hey man, he's just going to be looking like a sideman out there, man. So
hey, Toast started nice and early, man. All right. England playing Greece and Finland as well. I don't know who's tuning in for those, but yeah. good luck to them. And then we were hit with some other news as well, surprising news actually, that Paul Pogba looking to be back next year. Now, obviously, he was hit with how long was the ban? A 4-year
4
doping
years.
ban.
Yeah.
And that was slashed to 18 months by the Court of Arbitration. Shout out them, Cass. And the Frenchman, he's teasing a return to for next year, basically. He can train with Juventus again in January and start playing matches again in March. However, I think they've both decided that they will terminate their contract, right? But is it at the end of the season or just now? Because that's the part that I didn't really.
I don't know either. I think it's just now.
Yeah, I think they're looking just to terminate his contract and part ways, man.
I think so, because I saw an article. I didn't get a chance to open it. That basically said that there's like a surprise club that he might be potentially moving to. So I'm assuming, he's not going to continue on at Juve, innit? But yeah, nah, I can't say for sure.
I'm seeing United fans screaming Paul Pogba 3. I'm like,
hashtag free Pogba.
Leave it.
Free Pogba,
man. Free Pogba,
man. But I do think he I think he should just try his hand at Madrid. I want to see Pogba in Madrid. I think he missed it. He missed that chance, right, at Madrid.
I know.
And I just feel like if you got it, just try it.
If he's got it, but I don't know if he has it though.
Yeah, that's the thing. But hey,
but a player like him with Mbappe wouldn't make sense. Definitely, you'd play Mbappe to his strengths.
I don't think Pogba at 31, having missed X amount of time of football, is even gonna get the call, man. I'll be so real. If the circumstances were different, 100%, because we know the talent of the boy. But yeah, I mean, Madrid ain't gonna be checking on Pogs, man. I'll be real.
Yeah, for sure, man. Shout out Pogba. I think football in general is happy with that one, but it seems like, I don't know, man, like a little too late. Wasted his career at United.
Yeah, man.
His saving grace is the fact he won a World Cup. I think he can retire just with that on his back.
And he balled out, man. And they can never take that away from him, man. He still was one of my favorite players, like in his best in his best era, like at his peak. And for me as well, it's quite rare to get a personality like Paul Pogba in football. I don't know what it is about the youth era of like football and in the academy era, but they just churn out robots, bro. Like you don't get players showing personality.
You know how many
in any other sport?
You know how many clubs are looking for like a Pogba light? Like how many? Every single club in the world are looking for like a serious Paul Pogba, basically. Like he just had everything. He was tall, strong, technical, pretty good ball carrier, man. Gifted footballer, man. But yeah, let's see, man. Let's see if he can revive his career somehow, some way, and collect bread in Europe or probably in the desert. But yeah, man, let's get really into the shits, man. Game week 7 wrapped up just before the international break. We'll start with obviously the lunchtime kickoff, which was Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. My dear Liverpool, 1-0 win for Liverpool. A lot of people looked at this game, thought it would be a banana slip. We don't travel well at Palace, to be fair, but we do always nick a win, and I think Saturday, the scoreline says 1-0, but I think if you looked at the first half especially, we should have run away with that, to be honest. But, Palace had their 50 minutes, obviously with the home crowd giving it a go. Liverpool looking nervous. They tried it, but in the end, we controlled the game again and saw it out, man. It was pretty comfortable in the end.
Was there a penalty?
Sorry?
Was it a penalty? The Gahey situation.
I've seen them given, but I understand why it wasn't given. Yeah. I understand why it wasn't given. What's your thoughts?
I agree. I agree with you. I think the way the ball was, if the ball was perhaps in front of him, like there, like to his head,
because the ball wasn't local.
Yeah, the ball wasn't local. Yeah.
That's why I was like, get up, man. But a dickhead referee will give it.
Yeah,
I mean, they'll just give it. So, but anyways, man, yeah, happy with the win. Near perfect start for us, but yeah, let's keep it stepping, man. We'll discuss that later.
Allison.
Oh yeah, Allison injury as well. They're saying it's fake though. That's what they're screaming.
How are you faking an injury?
They're saying he's faking the hammy because he's already got hamstring problems. But Slot didn't want him to go to the internationals. He wanted, yeah. So apparently he'll be back for the Arsenal game. Basically, he'll be back for that game. Apparently, but I don't know. That's the word on the street. But anyways, yeah, Allison. For a goalkeeper, I don't understand how a goalkeeper can be this injury prone like Allison, because you don't run that much. You don't. Yeah, you receive the ball, you play from the back, but you're not. How are you getting a hammy problem as a goalie? You're not even twisting your ankle. It's always muscle problems with him. Know what I mean? So, in that sense, I understand why we signed Mamadashvili. Why we signed another first team goalkeeper, because Allison can't be relied on for the whole season, which I understand. Do I think like it will hamper us for this period if we do lose him for these 10 games? Not really, because we had the same last season with Kelleher and we didn't lose a game. We didn't lose a game with Kelleher when he stood in for Allison. So I think it should be fine. Kelleher's more than.
Did Kelleher play against Palace? Or was Allison
yesterday?
No.
When?
No. Last season when he lost to Palace 1-0.
Nah, he didn't. Allison was back then. Yeah, he was back. Yeah, because that was after the international break, right? After the March international. Yeah, Allison was back. So yeah, I'm not really too fussed in that department, to be honest. Who else? Someone else was injured from Liverpool. Who else was injured?
Mac 10,
yes, but he seems to go on to Argentina with the international team. So I don't know if that's too serious, to be honest. But yeah, man,
he was doing the opposite, man. He wanted to go to his people, man. So he wanted to make sure he was fit for the.
Nah, I mean, he's a crook, man.
Argentina team.
He's a crook. But yeah, man, good stuff. Let's keep it stepping. Obviously the 4 p.m. kickoff started. Let's start with Arsenal. 3-1 win against Southampton. But it was more. It was more than. It was less. It was. What's the word even? It was not straightforward whatsoever. And if I have to like, let me talk about Arsenal, right? Because obviously you guys, not you guys, but like certain Arsenal fans, when you guys want to compare with Liverpool, saying Liverpool hasn't played anyone, Arsenal have played people. You came off the back of playing people, and now you're playing no one. And this seems to be like the games where you've kind of like you're huffing and puffing. In my opinion, I think the Leicester game you deserve to win. The keeper was just doing nonsense in a good and a bad way. But I think this game against Southampton has probably been your poorest game from a neutral point of view.
I mean,
I don't know what you guys think.
There's a clear reason why.
Here comes the excuses, gents.
Now, there's not an excuse.
Let's hear.
There's a clear reason why, and it's clear with the lineups that Arteta put out. For me, there has to be a balance when you're rotating, and he just overdid it, in my opinion. For me, the first thing I did when I looked at that lineup was Partey at right back, and to be fair to Partey, he played well or okay at right back in this game, but you don't change your midfield and expect to have a good game. It's impossible for me.
Against Southampton at home.
Even
worst
with
team
that,
on paper.
Like, okay, look who was playing Jorginho. Jorginho usually plays when we have no one, and he's brought in to just like play a good game. You don't rely on Jorginho to play 20 games a season. You don't. So what Arteta did was just try. He just rotated, and because of that, it caused an imbalance. Plus the fact he had man like Sterling and Jesus who were not fit, not sharp. They were clearly not fit, and it just caused an imbalance, man. Because of that, the game panned out to the way it panned out. And it's interesting when he made a triple change in the second half, we say scoring. So that tells you everything you need to know about that game. Yeah, I do agree with you. It was our poorest game this season, but there is a reason why we had that like performance.
But based on before you go to us, based on what you said, right? Does that mean, because I thought it was your poorest game in terms of like chance creation? Because yes, obviously Southampton, especially in the first half, they sat back, and it's hard to penetrate. But I think like apart from Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Jesus, Kai Havertz, Raheem Sterling, they all struggled to like penetrate, like do anything, and it was actually pretty mad to see, to be honest. So, what's your stance?
I don't know, man. I think it was just a game of two halves, personally. First half, I agree, we were poor. I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but I understand that our first shot on target came in the
45 plus 2. 45 plus 2 to be exact.
Yeah, it's disheartening, obviously, from like an outsider looking in. But then obviously when you kind of factor in what Mace said about the number of changes that were made, like that's naturally gonna kind of affect kind of like the flow. And on top of that, personnel, like we have to keep it a buck. Sterling probably hasn't had the start to his Arsenal career that he probably wanted in terms of like maybe output, in terms of like how he's just looked from a footballing perspective, from a form perspective. But I'm not worried about Raheem Sterling. I think he's a quality footballer, and I know he will kind of come good. But where I'm headed is Gabriel Jesus, man. Like the lad takes no pride in his goal scoring record. Like I don't know what number we're at now, but I don't think he scored in like his last 20 games or something crazy like that. Completely unacceptable. Like as a 9, and I know he's tried to disassociate himself from being a 9 and saying that goals aren't the most important thing, but we're not trying to hear that, bro, because you're one of the registered 9s in the squad, and you're fit.
You wear the number 9.
You wear the number 9. You're healthy now. Go out and ball. Go out and perform. Go out and kind of impact the game. And everyone saw like the footage from last weekend's game when he was coming off the bench when I'm trying to think who scored. Trossard scored, and the whole team was going crazy because it was a massive goal, and he barely like he had no reaction. And people on Twitter were saying that he was a bit upset that if maybe Ethan Nwaneri came off the bench ahead of him. Well, absolutely, because what we've seen from Ethan and the flashes we've seen has been a lot better than what we've seen from Gabriel Jesus in this kind of barren run. It's one thing to not score in like 20 odd games, fine. Do you know what I mean? Like it's horrendous as a striker. You need to take more pride in that. But from just the impact on the game perspective, I'm not seeing him imposing his will on games. I'm not actually sure what role he's taken up in the team. Like you watched the Tottenham Brighton game and you saw the way Solanke was dictating from quite deep, and he was slipping in balls. He got a really nice assist. Could have got 2. Gabriel Jesus comes on. Sometimes you might see him in the box on the odd occasion. Sometimes you might see him on the wing. But right now and for a long time, it's like a -1. He's running around doing nothing. He's having no impact on the game, and you're not scoring. You're not even contributing. Like Havertz, who in my opinion still is less of an out-and-out 9 than Gabriel Jesus, is posing more of a goal threat. You're seeing the impact that Havertz is having in the air. Like Havertz is showing you that he's winning a lot of aerial duels, like from attacking perspective. So it's like, fine, you're not scoring, but find a way to impact the game. Find a way to impact winning, and you're not doing that. So for me, I'm glad we took him off, and I'm glad we dragged him off, and I'm glad he's no longer a starter, because it's not by name, innit? And like you don't just get to be fit again and think you're going to go straight back into the team because you're underperforming. So for me, that second half, a couple of personnel changes, it made a huge difference. At 1-0, and again, I wasn't watching the game, but the Arsenal I know at home, the Arsenal in this kind of current periods, I wasn't too worried. Do you know what I mean? And if anything, I felt it might have been a case of the Pep Guardiola. Let's go 1 goal down to kind of ginger us. And apparently it worked, because Havertz scored within, 5 minutes of Archer scoring his goal. It was a well-taken goal, to Archer's credit. And it was ball game after that, man.
Saliba there for the goal?
Yeah, Saliba gave
any accountability from you lads, or just when Konate doesn't matter?
No, I'll accept it.
Okay.
I'll accept
Thank
it.
you.
Like Saliba gave him too much respect. Saliba, we know, would have closed him down. But also, there was a little bit of luck in that goal, though.
Ah,
I mean,
That's
it
a-
did
that's a
take
little
I
bit of
hate
luck.
you, man.
it did
Ah,
take a
you
nick
are-
off Saliba, to be fair.
Yeah, there's a little bit of luck
It
in
took a
that
nick
goal.
off him.
It took a nick off him. So it's
What about the Havertz goal?
The Havertz goal.
It was
I
very
think,
well taken. It was very well taken, but
yeah.
at the same time, you don't see Havertz banging these kind of goals, man.
And this is kind of a good segue into where Havertz is as a player and also as an Arsenal player. I mean,
Let's get it.
Yeah, let's
get
get it. Like the Havertz from Chelsea was not the Havertz we've seen right now. And for me, what I saw at that first goal was Havertz saying to himself, "I'm not losing this game. I'm going to do this for my team." And he pulled out something we, in the pod, has never seen him do it in England. Right? So for me, I think Havertz is we're going to see the best of Havertz this season. And you, Drew, you're going to be, the bet or your position on Havertz, I think it will change soon.
I think the Havertz thing for me, let me explain, but the Havertz thing for me is so, at the moment, it's so forced. It's so forced. And like, I see, obviously he's having impact for you guys, especially as a 9 and what he does. But I feel like prior to that moment, that guy was that guy was ghost, bro. And that's one thing that I don't like about Havertz, where like he's not nice like that for me. For me.
Yeah.
He's not, but at the same time, he does come up with the goods. He does come up with important goals. He's important for you guys in terms of link up assists. I definitely acknowledge that. But that doesn't mean that we have to rate him all of a sudden, because he's not that guy. I'm seeing people comparing him to RVP. I'm thinking, bruv.
I mean, the way he took that goal was similar to what RVP
it was similar.
Yeah.
No, but that's why when he scored that, I gave him his props. Like, that was a very good goal. And if it's a good goal, it's a good goal. I'm not gonna. I don't hate that. That's toast. Toast will see Konate and them man do something good and still hate me. If I see my ops do something good, if I see my ops do something good, I'll back it. So nah, man, it was a good goal, and I definitely see the impact of Havertz. But I don't think none of these top, like City, Liverpool, they don't want to Havertz. We probably got 9s that you guys want. You would swap Havertz for Jota.
It's funny. I would absolutely. And
you would.
It's funny because
it's funny you didn't mention Nunes.
I actually think me and Drew
fuck that guy.
Agree in terms of how much I think we rate Havertz. It's probably about the same, innit? And I'm probably the one Arsenal fan that I personally still don't think he's a. You said it perfectly. Like, he's not that nice. I personally agree. I don't think like Havertz is nice. I don't think baller, like hooper, like someone like a Jota. That's just someone I consider a hooper. It's not, can't always stay fit.
Trossard,
very effective in the minutes that he gets. You guys know how I feel about Trossard, man. So we ain't gonna get into that one too much. But what did I say at the beginning of the season? And I stand by it because I watched too much ball in it. Like, Arsenal are a high chance creation team. So Havertz is gonna eat by default, and that's my frustration with why we didn't get a 9. Because I'm looking at the Premier League top scorer rankings. I'm seeing Haaland with 10. I'm seeing Luis Diaz, who's having a great season, with 5. I'm seeing Havertz with 4. I'm seeing Salah with 4. Cole Palmer with 4. Like, if we had a slight upgrade on a Havertz in terms of the chances Arsenal create, we'll have a striker in the 7, 8, 9 goal realm already, and that's always going to be my frustration with Havertz. But it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. I've got to take the good with the bad. I didn't think that goal with his left foot, he had it in his locker, posting in, very, very well taken finish. It was a very, very great goal, and that's what we need to kind of see from him. And like, for me, as good as Saka is, I don't want him to be our top scorer. I don't want him to be the guy we go to when we need a goal. Unfortunately, that's going to fall on Havertz's shoulders. And 4 goals in 7 games, 3 goals in 3 at the Emirates, or I think, or is it 4 and 4 at the Emirates? Sorry, very, very respectable, man. So
yeah, he equaled RVP's record. It was 7 goals at home, and that's quite good. So far,
there we go, man.
He's informed.
He scored in every game at the Emirates. So yeah, man, let's give him his props.
I also want to say, like, I want to big up another Arsenal player, Bukayo Saka, as well, because I do feel like he's on that world-class level in terms of, like, in the absence of Martin Odegaard, even with Odegaard, he was the go-to But even now, even more, I'm seeing it. In the game against Southampton, he was the only Donny with an ounce of quality in the Arsenal team. If I have to be honest, he was the only one. And that's including Saliba and Gabriel at the back. That guy, bro, I don't told you about this guy 4 years ago, man. He's Salah's higher, in it. Soon come, man. Soon come. He gonna replace now. But Saka, jokes aside, man. Yeah, man.
Like,
I think we can call him. We can call him world class now. I think the only thing that we need to see from him is like in the big Champions League away games. That's where we need to see Saka actually rising. Because
I agree.
Because if we compare him to like, people are now comparing him, they moved on from Foden and they're now comparing him to Cole Palmer, innit? Who would you back in the latter stages of tournaments to actually do something? It will be a Cole Palmer, right? Because I think Cole Palmer, obviously, two different players, but I think but Cole Palmer on the right, he plays right wing as well.
No, he's more of like he more
inside forward then.
He's just like floating. It's a floating player, two different positions.
Okay, but you know what? At the same time, ask my question though.
Let me just say this, right? Like the measure of a great player is consistency, and Saka is consistent, so he is world class. That's it. Period. And I'll take the point that at say a Champions League level, he should be, rising it and scoring. But mind you, this was the last Championship League we had. That's the first in how many years? So you need
I'm saying from now, this is what we want to see. It's really,
and that's correct. Agreed. And that's what we need to see
level
from now to have that conversation. And I think Saka has been consistent, and he will do it. So let's just give him time to do it, and then we can have this conversation end of the season. I'm all ears.
Yeah.
I mean, I would take Palmer in that very specific moment, only for the sheer fact that he has slightly more goal threat than Saka, but that might also be virtue of the fact that he's like an inside forward. He floats. You can find him in the 10 position at times. Like Saka hasn't necessarily unlocked like that killer instinct Salah gene for him to be able to still stay on the right, operate from the right, and just bag goals. You know what I mean? But in terms of who would I take overall? I mean, it's not up for debate yet. It's Saka all day, man. Like over the last, I guess, 2 years, I can argue he's been the most consistent player in the Prem, honestly, on like a game-to-game basis, man. Like the guy is just brilliant, man. Just, I see you screwing your face in it, man. But check the statistics. Even this season, he's assisted or scored in all but one game so far, and I believe Haaland's the only person to do that as well, or not do that. I think Haaland's now blank.
Hasn't Salah got a goal involvement in every game?
Nah, not in the Forest, my guy.
What did Salah do? Crystal Palace.
Oh yeah.
And Crystal Palace. That's two. That's already 2 games.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, man. Let's move on, man. Shout out Arsenal with the 3 points. 3-1 against Southampton. Fix Southampton. For this being Arsenal's worst performance this season, this is definitely Southampton's best performance this season. And they possibly, 3-1, it kind of flatters, but they possibly deserve the draw. But yeah, quality took over at the end. Brentford versus Wolves, another early goal for Brentford. 5-3, packed in Wolves, absolutely packed in, and it's looking tight for Gary O'Neill, man, because this was the game where they didn't play well at all, and now they're calling for his head, and he's feeling the pressure himself as well. So it'll be sad to see him go.
I can see it in his eyes. I can see it in his eyes with every post-match interview, man. Like the guy is getting stressed, but Wolves just have a lot of quality. I still believe in it, man. They can't defend to save their lives right now, but they have a lot of quality, especially going forwards. So I'm hoping that they can pull it around. And I've always actually liked Gary O'Neill, even as a player at West Ham and Pompey. So I hope he gets the time and the chance to stay. Push comes to shove, and they do get relegated. Give me that Ryan Aït-Nouri, man. That guy's a hooper, man. That guy is a real hooper, man. I'll take him all day, boy. So
yeah, man. All right. Leicester City beat Bournemouth 1-0. Buonanotte.
My God.
Another hate watch. Another hate watch that I had on my big screen. Man City versus Fulham, which ended in a 3-2 win for Man City. And that game.
Can we talk about the black road runner that can't score?
Fam. Because
let's talk about it, man. That oiled up. Man, I didn't want to say. I didn't want to say what I want to say right now, man. Honestly,
I can bench press 100 kg, 5'7". That's all he cares
I
about,
can run
bro.
with Usain Bolt. Like, brother, the guy has got all the physical attributes, bro. Donny could have taken a match ball home.
Yeah,
Brother, he had like 3 good chances, bro. Come on. Wow, man, what are we doing, man?
And every time in these type of games, Kovacic, even for Chelsea, in like dead rubber games, Kovacic will score out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Pissed me off, man. Doku with a good goal, but yeah, City ended up winning 3-2, and yeah, without Rodri.
That Jimenez assist.
Yeah, good assist.
Yeah,
sweet.
That was cold.
Jogo Bonito. But yeah, man, fuck City, man. But 3 points for them as well. West Ham collected a dub once again. After a while, beat Ipswich 4-1. 4 different goal scorers: Bukayo Antonio on the score sheet, Bowen, Paqueta, and Mohamed Kudus. Man like Liam Delap again on the score sheet for Ipswich. What are we saying about Ipswich? Because they were talking big things about their manager, but it's looking like they're going straight down, man.
Just can't defend, man. Like they're like West Ham scheduled this fixture on the fixture list to get their joy back in it, because it's them ones where they've not won all season, and the way West Ham had like 13 shots on target, bro. They were just pamming the goal mouth the whole game, and on top of that, Muric, who he played for, who did he play for last year? The team that got relegated, was it? Who did Muric play for?
Burnley.
Same thing. Like, for some reason, Burnley were playing out from the back a lot. He was the cause of a lot of mistakes. Muric just cannot use his feet, man. And he's always like, if you haven't got a consistent goalkeeper as in a team in a relegation dogfight, you're going straight back down, man. So yeah, for me, Ipswich are just the kind of team that are just going to give away a lot of goals. Delap will probably get a joy. He'll probably get like 10 goals this season. But yeah, I don't have any hope for them staying up, man. Not with the way they're defending.
Sorry, Charles. What I do find fascinating is Ipswich, Southampton, they are hell-bent about playing out from the back. And the question now is, do you stick to that principle, or do you get some kind of pragmatism and just hoot it or do something else? Because clearly it's
you know what you know what, like this, like I was listening to Mikel Arteta's press conference, and they asked him that because 5 years ago he did the same with Arsenal, right? When Arsenal didn't have the centre backs, and so he kind of felt sympathy with what's the Southampton's manager's name again? He used to be a baller. I forgot his name, but he had sympathy with the manager, saying that
Russell Martin,
exactly. Yes. By sticking to his principle and playing the way that he's playing, because eventually it will come good. My thing is, shut up, man. Just you have to play based on the players that you have. And if you can see in the first 7 games that it's not working, fam, play to their strengths, bro. Like, I know probably the same players you use in the championship and it worked there, but the championship is like here and the Premier League is like there. Everyone will tell you that play both leagues that the level is completely different.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? So
do you know what?
You have to adapt.
I'm actually gonna kind of slightly disagree, but like with an asterisk. Like, for me, I'm not opposed to teams having a philosophy and living and dying by the philosophy. But my thing is, they're like, football is like an instinctual sort of game. It's a reactive sort of game. Like, you don't have to be rigid at all times. A lot of the times they're making mistakes because they're insisting on playing a certain way. Sometimes if we're in like 10 minutes of play where we're really struggling here, if it has to go long so we clear our lines, let it go long, reset, and then start playing out from the back. But this notion of we're under the cosh, we're already a bit shaky because the keeper's already made one bad pass and maybe it led to a goal, and we're just going to consistently do it for the 90 minutes. That doesn't make sense to me. Sometimes when it's not on, hoof it and reset. And for me,
this was my frustration in the Arsenal game, the 2-1. If you remember the 2-1, it was the exact same thing. Donny is trying to, like, brother, just think it. Like, because Saliba, the centre backs were high. Yeah, man. So
it's odd. It's odd. Like, it gets to a point where you're trying to play your philosophy to your detriment. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if it, like, anyway, man.
And that's what I'm against. That's what I'm against. I get that you want to maintain your thing, but you need to know when you're able to do it, man. If you're playing against a high pressing team, a disciplined team,
a quality team that will press,
quality team that will press you, especially at home.
Yeah,
brother. Like, anyways, man. But it's their downfall, innit? They don't like the bread. They don't like the Premier League bread. And then the evening game was Everton Newcastle 0-0. Jordan Pickford with a penalty save, but other than that, I think the game was a terrible game, right?
Yeah.
Horrible.
I had it in the background, didn't really watch it. And then the Sunday games, do or die for Erik Ten Hag. I think we need to kind of stop here, man, because obviously they were saying that Erik Ten Hag had 2 more games left. Harry Maguire rose from the death and saved Erik Ten Hag's life in the Europa League. And then obviously they played this dead rubber against Aston Villa 0-0. I was watching this Donny, yeah, he was saying everyone was unhappy with this 0-0 apart from Erik Ten Hag. He was the only Donny smiling in the stadium.
It looks to me like a guy who doesn't have shame, man. It just gives me that. He probably went home and popped open a bottle of wine with like 32 teeth, just smiling.
I live to see another day, baby. Manny is still here, baby.
You know what? You know what? Sorry. You know when I knew Ten Hag was the losing in it was when quite a few weeks into last season, he was still bringing up the Arsenal Man United game.
Oh,
like
he loves Arsenal,
and it's like it's just like it's almost as if the Donny believes his own bullshit, bro, and he believes that like nothing he's doing is actually wrong, and that the powers that be or bad decisions or just moments of inspiration are working against him, bro. Like, but you're consistently churning out crap, bro. The game is United matches are either these rubbish 0-0 games where there's just no quality whatsoever, or it's just Entertainment FC, a basketball match. There's never ever real any element of control in their games. Like it's crap football, like from top to bottom. It's either crap football or entertaining football. It's bullshit, honestly. And where are they in the table? 12th, 14th? It's 14th, exactly where they deserve to be. Exactly where they deserve to be.
Do you guys think? I remember like we had this conversation about 5 years ago or so, where like both Arsenal and United were, you know, in the gutter. And I remember one of the United dons were like saying like, we believe that we will be back before Arsenal will. Now, me personally, I don't even want to say that Arsenal are back because I need to see something tangible from Arsenal. But in terms of like, you guys are rubbing shoulders now. You guys are actually bookies' favorites for the league. I can't remember the last time United were bookies' favorites for anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's quite funny to see that. What do you guys think? Do you guys think like United will ever be back? Is this a cycle of, because they've had their fair shares of good managers coming in and trying to steady the ship. They've had their fair shares of, on paper, good players to try and steady the ship. So what is it?
When you say on paper, you say on paper, good players, let's just dive into that. Their buying philosophy was crap. They were buying players that they were in their twilight of their careers, right? Giving them massive contracts, and after a year, you see a big decline in their performance. Who would have known? Look at Ten Hag's look at Ten Hag's history of transfers. It's pretty poor, right?
Yeah.
I know you guys don't agree on my position. I still stand to that, and Toast doesn't agree. I still think that Ronaldo's coming into United was the wrong decision. I think at that point, that was the point for United to look at their young guys and the youngsters and just develop them. I understand the concept of saying Henry going to Spurs is something I would never, in my life accept. But let's accept it. Henry would never go to Spurs. I get that. That's what United fans were painting to me. I get it. However, you have to look at the long-term success for your club. And at that time, they had what? They had, of course, you can't blame him, but Greenwood. They had Jesse Lingard. They had the Pogbas. Who else am I missing? Rashford was there. So they and Martial. They had young players who needed time to be developed, in my opinion. But what they did, and fair enough, I get their point, but I wouldn't have brought Ronaldo back. And I think that was the flashpoint of United's development. Moving on for
do you know? Can I before you go carry on? Yeah. To be honest, I'm more leaning to your side in regards to the Ronaldo point, but he's the only player that cracked 20 goals for them in the season. This version of Ronaldo since Wayne Rooney.
He's a great player. He's gonna do.
You know what?
Sorry, Toast. Go ahead.
Mace, I actually, and the thing is, in ways, I can kind of understand. Like, if I look at the bigger picture, let's put it that way. Look at the bigger picture. United didn't need to go for Ronaldo. The Ronaldo move shouldn't have happened. I understand why it did happen though, in terms of they couldn't let him go to City, who's already kind of dominating in Manchester anyway. And maybe, they wanted a little bit of a wild card, a bit of a spark plug. They wanted it's Ronaldo. It's one of the greatest ever players. You know what I mean? So from the bigger picture perspective, I totally agree, because I still see Ronaldo and the Casemiros and the Varane, and if we're going back further, the Radamel Falcaos, the Ibrahimoviches, the Angel Di Marias. This for the last 10 years, this
Di Maria was in his prime. Di Maria was in his prime at that time, or not? He came off the back of a very good season at Madrid.
But you know what it is for me. Fine, we can give you the Di Maria one. Man United, their philosophy post Ferguson has been where the land of the quick fix. Where Man United, we can flex our muscles and give you big wages, rightly or wrongly. We can flex our muscles in the transfer market and spend breads on players that are past their prime. Champions League Varane won how many Champions Leagues at Madrid? Casemiro won how many Champions Leagues at Madrid? Like, bro, they've already achieved their success. In fact, they're coming to you not because you're Man United. They're coming to you for their last final bag because they know you're going to drop dumb bread on them. Like, bro, we have people saying Casemiro, one of the best CMs in the league, after like a good 10-game stretch when he first came to United, bro. He's fell off a cliff since then, and he's not been able to get back on the mountain since then. Like, Varane couldn't stay fit, and when he was fit, we never ever saw the best out of him. Angel Di Maria played one season at United. Radamel Falcao, one of the most feared strikers in European football, bro. Miserable Man United career. Fair enough, Ibrahimovic won a Carling Cup, fine. But my main point being, they're still on their high horse because of their fucking 13 Premier League titles, bro. And they need to have a reality check, bro, that there's no quick fix. You don't just get to bring in the big money manager. You don't get to bring in the big money players, and everything else is shit. Everything else is shit from top to bottom. Cristiano, rightfully or wrongfully, he came out and said it, that the infrastructure in the club has not changed since he left, bro. How can Donny still be seeing the same dinner ladies and the same stuff going on in the club from 2006 when he was winning leagues, and 2008 when he was winning Ballon d'Ors, and when he comes back in the 2020s? Come on, man. What are we doing here, man? United, unfortunately, and whether or not they like it or not, they need to humble themselves. Like, because that era is done now. They need to humble themselves. The wage structure has to start from scratch, bro.
It's crazy.
Rashford has to go. If you're not happy with the wages the current players are on, sell these players. Rashford has to go.
But they can't sell them, bro. They tried to sell. They tried to.
Do you see? He gave an interview saying that the only two players that train properly, and that was Bruno, which I can see, and Dalot. That's it. Those are the two players that train properly. The rest, not good trainers.
Really?
That's the culture at United.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Shout out Benny.
My problem is this current crop of players, the iterations of the recent Man United sides, they're on a high horse like their fans, bro. I don't know why, because they're not good anymore. Don't get me wrong. Like, you can't take away the multiple Champions Leagues. You can't take away the Premier League titles. That's fine. But this iteration of the team is not good. It hasn't been good for a very long time. And it's not going to be good unless you tear it down and start again, like from scratch. Like, and there has to be some growing pains for United to really become good again. And even this season, and to a lesser extent, someone like a De Ligt signed paying 45 million for De Ligt. Like, bro, he's past his best. Let's keep it a buck, man. Like, are we expecting to ever see De Ligt in like a Man United league winning side? No. Like, you have to go through some growing pains and actually humble yourself and accept that, you know what, it's not going to look great. The product on the pitch is not going to look great, but we know it's not going to look great now because it's going to be better in the future. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
How can you have Kobbee Mainoo developing in this iteration of the Man United team, bro?
Yeah.
Like, his next Connie is going to be massive because he's obviously now one of the most important players, and he's just going to fall off a cliff like we've seen so many of their young players do.
What happened to Malacia? I heard he's in jail.
Fam, I've been hearing some crazy stories about
I'm hearing mad stories, man. He just came and that was it. You're Dutch. Tell me what's going on with Malacia.
All I know is young Tyrell, he's in Rotterdam frequently. Vibes in frequently. But in terms of the jail things, I haven't heard about that. What's the stories about that?
Bro, I'm just hearing rumors about him being incarcerated or whatever. And that's the
what, in Holland?
In Holland, that's the reason why he's injured. And yeah, that's the rumors I'm hearing. Because how long are you injured for? That's more than ACL. I'm telling you, that's where is he?
Fuck knows, man.
All right.
Fuck knows.
Let's move on.
Let's move on, man. And then we had Chelsea v Nottingham Forest on Sunday as well, which ended in a 1-1 draw. Chelsea, obviously, they're thinking that they're ready to rumble this season and be like the fourth horse. Nottingham Forest proven to be so far a very difficult team to beat, at least. Beaten Liverpool, drawn to Chelsea. I think they've beaten another big team, right? Or was it Spurs? I can't remember.
No.
They drew to Brighton. Nah, they're not. They lost.
They drew to Brighton away. That was a good result for them.
They drew to Brighton, yeah. They lost last week, I think, to Fulham.
Yeah, lost 1-0 to Fulham. That was their first loss. Yeah.
So yeah, only City and Arsenal still unbeaten. And then Brighton versus Spurs. You know, the thing is, I don't know how you guys see it, but I don't consider Spurs a top team by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I don't think they're. What about them is a top team other than the financials, the stadium, location? That's it. They're not a top team by trophy.
They had a spell, like a 5-year spell.
They had a spell where they reached the Champions League, where they went to the Champions League consistently.
Yeah. Correct.
But fam, bring your medals to the table, man. Like, you can't go somewhere. Lead 2-0. End up losing the game 3-2, but in the manner that they lost.
They did it.
That was shocking, man.
I've said this many times that, like, Tottenham Arsenal is a postcode rivalry, bro. Like, Spurs are not our mates. I don't check the Spurs unless it's Derby weekend at the Emirates or at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I genuinely don't. Like, I don't. It's not even a Spurs lost. Like, bro, I expect Spurs to lose, bro. They're shit, bro. They've not won a cup since 2008. Ain't won a league since the 60s. How are Spurs like mates with anyone, bro? Fair enough. They had a Cinderella run, went to the Champions League final. And I've said it since. Spurs have never recovered since they let Poch go, bro. Poch is the manager that they should have kept for 15 years, bro, until they got it right, bro. And even still now, I already know how Andy feels about the Poch thing, innit? So we don't even need to make this a Poch pod. But, like, bro, can we really say that they've made any real progress since Poch left, bro? There we go.
No.
The foundations are fairly fragile. FC,
but Ange was depressed. Did you see his post-match comments? His head was just down. Didn't lift his head.
How would it not be down, bro?
Then I get it, but like, imagine only a club doing that to you, boy. His head was just down, and I honestly felt sorry for him. His head was down, and I thought, Jesus.
I see Spurs as like I don't know, man. Spurs and United currently are mates in terms of like the results that they churn out, in terms of like success, whatever. Yeah, probably United is slightly better. They actually get it over the line.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, United Spurs played the final against City. that FA Cup final, City wins. United played this final against City. They win because they have the heritage. Spurs just doesn't have. They don't have the heritage to win. So I wouldn't call them mates. I think that's an insult to United fans. And this is me backing United fans.
United slightly better, but
yeah, it's an insult.
Yeah, man. Brighton, man. And let's segue into the season so far. Brighton currently 6th in the league. New young manager, 31 years old, went to the Emirates, got a point. Only lost once this season, drew a few times, needless draws. But yeah, in terms of this season overall, other than like your other clubs, any surprises that you've seen so far? I know it's only been 7 games. Who are the surprise packages? Did you expect it from wherever they are currently at the table? Yeah. The promoted teams, what do we think about them? Chat to me.
Go on, Mace.
There isn't any surprise per se. I wouldn't, because one of my dark horses are Fulham, because I saw what they did last season, and they now proceeded with getting goodbyes. I think that was a good indication that they would do well. Forrest, I want to see how far they go, but it seems like they just have a good camp and a good like camaraderie around them. So it's giving me like, right, they enjoy playing it with each other, so that's good. I would say Liverpool. I didn't expect Slot's first how many games now? 8 games, 7, 8 games to be
7.
Yeah, to be 7. This good. And we have to wait and see when Liverpool play Chelsea, then Arsenal, to kind of give them to kind of see where they are in regards to the top teams. But I'm pretty impressed with what Slot has done with the team he has, which is not really that difficult because you have a quite good team. But the way he's handled the team, the way he's gotten results, I'm impressed. But with 7 games in, man, we have to wait. Let's talk game week 15 to see where things land so far. For
totally agree. Totally agree on that point, man. Like, and I'm not gonna do the whole Tarbo, former member of the VARBAR podcast thing, and say, yeah, you man haven't played anyone. Like, points are on the board. You have the best defensive record in the league. You guys are looking potent offensively, but like this next period of games coming up, and I was shocked to see that in your next 10 games, you have some very, very difficult like challenges ahead. I'll be very kind of intrigued to kind of see how Liverpool kind of navigate through that. If they are the team that Liverpool fans think that they are, then you should kind of hopefully, or not hopefully, kind of get through that period in flying colours. And if the table plays out how I thought it would play out prior to the season starting, then I don't think Liverpool will be top at the end of that run. I mean, I personally think that Liverpool are still the 3rd best team in the league. I'm maintaining that. I don't think too much has changed between Arsenal and Liverpool from the end of last season. And you guys had a good run last year. You fell off in a major way, which kind of exposed a number of your flaws. I don't necessarily know if you've fixed those flaws. I don't necessarily think I can just say, because Gravenberch is having like his best season in a Liverpool shirt so far, that suddenly everything's kind of just changed, because I don't necessarily think you play like it's too early to say. It's too early to say. You know what? It's too early to say, really.
You don't think finish that? You don't think we play like what?
Nah, let me not. Let me not.
Finish that.
Let me not say that. Let me not say that, because I can see the element of control that you have in games, but I also think it's very early. I watch too much ball. I watch too much ball to say that, innit? So I'm not gonna. You ain't gonna hear me say that, innit, man? But it's still too early, innit, man? It's September, innit, man?
What about Arsenal? October. What about Arsenal and like your season so far? What have you made of that?
I'll be real with you, brother. Like, and I like the fact that we are conceding some goals in these games, because the most important thing is when you're going for a title is when you, and we do this every year. The last 2 seasons, there's been certain periods of the season where you look back on these results, the Fulham aways, the West Ham aways. Like, there's always those results that end up kind of biting you in the arse. In the previous season, like away to West Ham, we dropped points away to Liverpool, the Southamptons in the previous season. Like, for me, what I didn't want, regardless of how many goals we're conceding, is to have to look back later on in the season and be like, We gave points away at the Emirates to Leicester. We gave points away against Southampton. 5 wins from 7, and in the 2 games we dropped points. We had a red card. Someone beat Arsenal with 11 men. Do you understand? When someone beats Arsenal with 11 men, then I'll be like, all right, you know what? Cool. Maybe we're not the team that we think we are. But for now, we're unbeaten. We're finding different ways to win while conceding goals, still creating a number of different chances. Multiple players are scoring. I'm happy with where we are right now. I'm very, very happy with where we are right now. And people, for some reason, because we're conceding these goals against these Leicesters and these Southamptons, people are trying to use that as a source of joy. There's no joy, my boy. It's 3 points.
I think for me, like if I have to talk about Arsenal, I think I've been kind of surprised in terms of like your opening 5 games were hard, and I thought a lot more points would be dropped. At least you would have had an L there. Aston Villa away. I thought that's where the L would have been. Or against City. But in terms of like your defense, it's not the same, bro. I know you're saying you're conceding, but you're still winning, so it doesn't matter. But I think, again, long term, will it be sustainable to be this sloppy? Because now I'm seeing sloppiness into this Arsenal side that I didn't necessarily see last season in this short amount of time against these types of teams, you know? And this is why I'm, worried or not worried, but this is what I worry for Arsenal, where like, you can't be sloppy against everyone, because, the better teams or the serious teams, they will punish you, or they will score the goal and sit back and camp, and you ain't doing shit unless, your Saka or your Havertz bail you out again. And that's what I've been seeing for Arsenal at this start of the season, where it's been really huffing and puffing. It's not been convincing 100%. And I'm just being honest. It's not an agenda, but that's why I feel like Arsenal's been. That's why I feel like Arsenal so far has not been convincing yet. However, hold on, Mace. However, you kind of had a similar start last season as well, where it didn't look convincing up until like January onwards. You kept the pace with the top 2 teams, and then from Jan you just went mad. So I'll see it. I'll wait and see what happens with Arsenal, but yeah, I'm seeing sloppiness and complacency in the team, and it can bite you in the back very, very hard. So y'all need to be careful with that. My surprise package for this season as well, where team that have been pretty impressive, even though they sit 11th and they've already lost a few games. But Brentford, man, like, I don't know if you guys been watching like Brentford games, but they've been really, really, really good, especially going forward. I think their defense is letting them down, and the keeper as well, Flecker, even though he's pretty good. But going forward, Brentford is going to be a very, very, and they're going to collect points from the ups. That's what I'm happy about. We already played Brentford because we're good, but Arsenal, and I think City got Brentford to. Now City already played Brentford. I think Arsenal still got Brentford to play. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Brentford taking points from the ups. That's all, because they're the kind of team that will definitely do it. United, I expected them to be lower, man. They collected too many points for me, to be honest. And in terms of Liverpool, start of the season, I said 7 out of 7 because our start was on paper easy. I think the only hard game on paper was United away, which, it's a derby, so anything can happen. I understand why people say United is not a hard game anymore. I think that's cap. That's just agenda. And we had a few difficult banana slip away games as well. Wolves, Crystal Palace, Ipswich. If you take away, if you put in the Champions League in Milan as well. So I think overall, like what Shalom said, I totally align with that as well, man. It's been a good start for Slot. No matter how you want to slice it or not, no matter who we've played, it's been a good start. You can fix your face. No, but I'm a Slot. I've been a Slot believer in it from early. So this is the minimum. This is the minimum that I expect from him. But obviously the next 10 games, go on.
And you know what? And I don't even want to put my agenda glasses on, but obviously in the course of this debate, I'm actually just looking at the table, and you're reeling off the away games that you guys have won, right? So you've beaten Wolves away, 20th, respectfully. You've beaten Palace away, 18th, respectfully. You've beaten Ipswich away, 17th, respectfully. And the season might not play out that way, I'm just trying to provide you perspective of the games like where those teams currently stand. That's the only point I'm going to make there. So I don't know.
No, but
want to read
still,
into those dubs.
No. You're not gonna do this to me because there's still away games in the Premier League. You know what I mean?
Man.
It's the Premier League, bro. It's the league of the Wolves can beat. You know what I mean? 20th can beat number 1 at any given Sunday. So you're not gonna do this is who you played.
Let me just step in quickly on this. One thing I'm impressed with Slot is that he hasn't been naive. You know, when new managers come in, they change things. They do wholesale changes, and it just disrupts the teams. I think he's been very clever with how he's managed his team. And yes, I do agree with you, Toast, that the caliber of teams they played, they should be beating them. It's just call it what it is. But the way he's tackled those games, it feels like, you know, Klopp hasn't left type shit. It seems very business minded, like business like. We're here to win, no bullshit. Let's win. And I think from looking at that manager, it gives me like, okay, this is the guy with a plan. This is not a Ten Hag. They're both Dutch, but this is not Ten Hag. Like, this is a guy with a plan. This is a guy that actually sits up at night and thinks about what he's going to do in the game. Like, I respect that. You understand?
This is a hater, man. Shout out Mace, man. That toast doesn't want to give the props, man. But like you guys said, the next few games will definitely
determine
shape our season. Yeah. And even for Liverpool fans as well, like, we will see where our team is at in it. But I think, like, even what Toe said, that where he feels like last week, and we're going, you know, we need to wrap up very soon, but Toe said, obviously, last week he said it as well, where you find it disrespectful that Liverpool fans think they're better than Arsenal. And I'm in my mind, I didn't want to respond to it last week because it's nonsense. But to be honest, like, and you're thinking that, you know, we're the third best team. I think it's opinion. That's fair. I think as Arsenal, you can feel like you're better than Liverpool. But I do also think Liverpool fans can feel that they have a better team than Arsenal, which I think we actually do. If we do like a 11, there'll be more Liverpool players in the 11 than Arsenal players. That's a fact.
It's not by team though. That's the thing.
No. But if we do it, that's just base level, innit? That's just base level. Seeing Wagwan. That's base level. So for me, saying that it's disrespectful that Liverpool fans think that's going overboard. But Liverpool fans thinking they're better than Arsenal and vice versa, I think that's totally fine, to be honest. For me, that's fair.
Just going off the fact that it was a 3-horse race, in my opinion, for large parts of the season, and you man fell off so magnificently in the way you did, and the fact that we didn't, and we both gone into the season with more or less similar cause, more or less similar squads. Obviously, you have a different manager. Like, I don't think much has changed to suddenly make Liverpool now the second best team in the league. Like, I just don't. Like, you've lost one game, obviously. You're top of the league, I understand. Better goal. You've conceded less, scored more, fine. Like, but we're 7 games into the season. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's these 7 games that have maybe gingered Liverpool into thinking that, you know what, yeah, we're better than Arsenal, or you just don't respect what we accomplished or came close to accomplishing last year. I don't know. I don't know which one is it.
First of all, it came close, innit? You don't get anything for coming close. Second of all, for me, I just look at it like this. Like, definitely need to wrap up, but I just look at it like this. Like, you know, if we do like squads, right, and if we do like, if everyone is fit, Liverpool are going blow for blow with City. That's a fact. If we keep all of our players fit,
absolutely, you have multiple world-class players in your team, though.
Exactly. So let's just keep that. We're at that time. That's one. Fitness was an issue for us. 2, I don't think in those last 10 games, the games that we lost and that we drew, that we were the worst teams or that we got outplayed. We simply forget to score goals and forgot to defend in certain moments of those games, and that's what cost us. If we have to,
why
actually,
why don't you think that'll happen again?
I don't think that will happen again. It's just on basis of who the manager is. The manager is not a Klopp. He's not a Klopp. He asserts much more control into these games. We've seen evidence of that against lesser opposition. So I think against better opposition, he will exercise that even more. We've only conceded twice so far. We don't concede as many chances. We don't concede chances in transitions anymore. But like I said, obviously, after the international break, that's when we will see, because that's when the actual test. Chelsea will be a very good test as well, especially from an offensive point of view. I think Arsenal will be a good test because they're one of the better teams in the league. So that's where I want to see how Slot is gonna attack it tactically. But to say it's disrespectful, it's disrespectful for me to think, not even for me, but like for Liverpool fans to think, that's not disrespectful. They're within their rights to think that, because we have a better squad than you guys, first of all.
The best thing about football, innit, is everyone will have their chance to go through adversity, innit. I feel as if Arsenal have kind of already almost experienced some adversity playing with 10 men for basically 45 minutes in 2 games against 2 very
We did that last season. That's nothing. We did that last season, bro.
When the adversity strikes, I want to see how Liverpool reacts, because we knew after Liverpool lost that game against Palace away, we knew what happened to their season after that. Do you know what I mean? Like, Arsenal lost that Villa game and we won out the rest of the season. We didn't drop another point. Liverpool I told
you what the main issues were, man. I told you what the main issues were. That donkey, that Uruguayan Central C up front, and just our defense moving mad. But none of these games are, that's it. That's it.
Let's do some shots.
Let's go to the bar, man.
Who's got shots? Okay, I'll go first. All right. Yeah, my shot goes to Kai Havertz, man. Need I say more? He is on form, and I have a silent bet with myself that he will either come close or he will score 20 goals this season.
Give me a number, man. Give me a number. Give me a number.
I just have
all comps.
All comps, yeah.
How much is he on now?
That's a very good question. He's on 4 he's on 5 at 5.
Wait, has he?
No, 6. He's on 6.
Champions League.
He scored 1 against PSG. He scored against Bolton, and he scored 4 goals in the Prem. So he's on 6, I believe.
You still want to take that bet, Andy?
It's a silent bet, but I just want to hear a number.
Yeah, so I got a silent bet that he will come close or he will get 20 goals a season. And I think this season is when you get to see the real Kai Havertz, not the Chelsea Kai Havertz. This is the real deal.
Will the real Kai Havertz please stand up?
Yeah. So shots goes to my Kai.
So any shots?
Yeah, man. Same shot as last week, man. Hot like Nelly. Legend in the game, Machiavelli. And I'm going back to him because he scored another goal, another really important goal in a really important moment in obviously a tricky match. He scored 15 goals 2 seasons ago in the Prem. He scored 6 last season, which was just, by his standards, completely unacceptable. And from what we expect of him, completely unacceptable. He's already on 2, and we're in October, so he's already a third of the way through his tally from last season. I maintain that if we can get Martinelli into double figures this season, it will go a very, very long way towards our title push. Like 6 goals all season last year, it's not going to get it done. Like, and for the amount of minutes he plays and the amount of responsibility he has on that left wing, we need more output from him by any means, man. And he took a very well taken goal near post. Shout out, Hot Like Nelly. We go again, man.
Shout out Hot Like Nelly. Good goal, man. But Ramsdale very sus for that goal. Yeah, I've got a shot as well, man. I've got a shot for my gaffer, Arne Slot. Obviously came in, kind of steadied the ship a little bit. I know he's not been able to assert his football 100%, but obviously we will see what he's made of. He's got 1 week to actually tinker for the next 10 games, Champions League and in the league and in the League Cup. But he's had a brilliant start so far. Could have been perfect. Shouldn't have lost against Nottingham Forest. But yeah, man, shout out my gaffer Arne Slot from early since 2021, man. Brought my Feyenoord back. Now he's gonna bring my Liverpool back. You get me? So that's my shot, man. Thank you guys for listening to the pod. Shout out to the audio crew, the Apple, Spotify crew, the YouTube crew. Like, subscribe, share as always. Do your due diligence. My fellow compadres, thank you very much for pulling up as usual. We are the VBP boys, and we out.
Peace.
Peace.
In a bit.